The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of We're Done Here podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast wherever you may be listening to this or watching this. This week, I'm here with a very, very talented comedian, Kenice Mobley.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Kenice.
Yeah.
I started liking you, I don't know, years ago.
Thank you.
I don't know where we met or where I saw you originally. I'm not really sure. But you're a comedian, stand-up comedian.
Yes.
I feel like you're in you have a show in Brooklyn. That's where I met you.
Yes, Boys in the Woods?
Yes, Boys in the
Or
Woods.
the Lab. So
The lab? No, it was the lab.
It was the Lab? Okay.
It was the lab. It was years ago. Like I had just started doing comedy. You were running that show at Friends and Lovers, and I was like, this girl is amazing.
Thank you so much. That was such a weird show because I was like, okay, I'm only booking black comedians,
Yes.
and they're not doing stand-up. So
Yeah.
they're doing something besides that. And so I really liked it because it gave everyone the opportunity to be weird. But then my co-host and producer quit comedy and moved away.
Oh,
So,
weird.
yeah.
Okay. No, but I love that show. People were doing like PowerPoint presentations.
Yes.
I don't know. It was all types of stuff, but it was cool. I liked it. I liked it.
Thank you very much.
So how did you get into comedy? Tell us more.
Sure. So I always liked comedy, but I thought it was one of those things where it was like, oh, there are some rarefied people who are just naturally that funny. They get up, they do it from scratch. Like that's the first time they've ever said these things. They're just so talented. And then I dated a guy who said he was a comedian. And this is in LA.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, do you want to come to a show? We'd been dating for like 3 months at this point.
Yeah.
And he finally was like, yeah, you can come to a show. I go to a show. It's actually an open mic. And he...
Oh, it's not a show.
No. And it was so bad that we broke up like the next day.
No, that's why I don't have anybody watch me do comedy.
Well, have more faith in yourself. This man was
No, that's
particularly
true.
bad.
He was
Yeah.
open mic comic. Yeah.
But seeing people be bad at comedy, but seeing like how they could get from like where they were to actually good comedy, that made me like, oh, so they just let anyone do this.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, if just anyone can do this and you can do it poorly, I could do it poorly. Okay.
So that's how it all started.
Yes.
Wow. And then you were in LA first? Did you start off in LA?
So I did one open mic in LA and then
Okay.
I moved to Boston.
Oh.
Because I went to grad school in Boston. I moved back to Boston.
Got it.
And I started comedy there. And it was a great scene to start. But I'm
I
happy
didn't
that
know
I
you
lived.
started in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, wow.
I was there for like 3.5, 4 years.
Okay, and then you moved to New York, the promised land
yes.
of comedy.
It was like once you hit a certain level in Boston, you can't go any higher because there's 7 old white dudes named Sean, and they're gonna get like the professional bookings.
Got
and
it.
You have to move. You simply have to move.
Got it. Well, shout out to those 7 old white dudes
Yes.
named Sean.
Yes.
I'm so happy you moved to New York. You have tons of credits.
Thank you.
have Netflix is a Joke. You just did an Edinburgh Fringe run.
Yes.
Yay.
So did you.
That's true. I'm like,
Yes.
am I talking about my run? I don't know.
Okay.
But I love your one-woman show.
Thank you.
What was it called?
Don't kill yourself yet.
Got it. Don't kill yourself yet. No, you have tons of credits, but we're going to get into this Fringe show.
Yes.
Because it's the topic of our episode. We're done here, emotional wellness comedy, and it's about your stroke.
Yes.
Wow. You were young, so you having a stroke is weird. Tell us more.
Okay, yes. I had always thought about death. Like, as a kid, I was certain that I was going to die at 27. Like, I always knew, like, this is how I'd want my funeral to go.
Wow, like Tupac or somebody.
Yeah, I always thought I was going to be part of the 27 Club.
Got it.
Such a disappointment. No, I'm kidding. I'm happy I'm alive. But it was like, oh, I guess I'm not doing anything like crazy artistic. So like maybe 27 isn't the right time. Like, because I'm not there yet, but maybe I'll get famous enough so that I could die at like 33. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully, whatever. But I planned a funeral, and my family was very concerned with that. They asked me to like...
Wait. You actually planned a funeral?
Yes.
Okay, what went into that?
Okay, so like I was an emo kid.
God, damn
gross.
emos.
Yeah, gross. Boo, emo past. But I was like, okay, the My Chemical Romance video for Helena, I was like, we're going to recreate that.
Wow, this is millennial core, everyone.
Yes, I am so millennial core. It hurts. And yeah, so it's like there's going to be choreographed dancing and spinning umbrellas and a rain machine. And you're going to have to put my body into a river and then push my like body in the canoe down a river and then light it on fire. It's the whole thing.
Wow.
And I mean, yeah, I was a dramatic person, whatever. And then my family was like, we don't like that you like think about this all the time.
Got it.
And then my sister was like, okay, Kenice, you're always calling me depressed. What if you took the things that I normally tell you to do and then did those things before calling me because you call me too much with this, essentially.
Okay.
So I made a list and I was doing those things, but I was still super depressed. And then I had a stroke.
Wow. Wait, do you think you brought on the stroke with your
I hope not.
doom and gloom?
Although, like, in the hospital, I was in Utah when it happened, and I hate Utah. But
Why were you in Utah?
So I was there for this creative change retreat where they get a bunch of people to think about how to make the world a better place, and they have it at the Sundance Institute, or they used to have it there. And I'm hoping that my stroke isn't why the next year they had to move to a different location. But I think it was something else. I think it was like the resort was like going under or something. I think it wasn't me. And you should do that program, by the way, especially now that you've done the Yes and Laughter Lab. Then you should do this other program through the Opportunity Agenda. Sorry if you have to cut all this. Sorry if you're like, why are you just talking to me?
We don't cut anything, Kenice.
Oh, okay. I was like, sorry if this is like just me having a conversation with you where I'm like, you are doing stuff and you're like achieving it. I think that you should, use that, whatever. So I was there and I had a stroke. And yeah, Utah is just... it was not good. They were okay at the hospital. They were like, "Oh, like, wait, how old are you?" And at the time, I was 36, and they were like, "You're way too young." But then some people in Utah were like, "Oh, you don't have children?" Like they were so confused that a 36-year-old woman didn't have children. They were like hyper Mormon people. And
what's
they
it
were
gonna
like,
do with your stroke?
Yeah, they were just like they just thought it was weird. They're like, but there aren't like kids around you or like a husband. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just like out here loose.
Just a comedian woman.
Yeah. I don't know.
Out here in the streets.
Yeah. But then also those doctors weren't very good. That's not my assessment. I'm not like a doctor, so I feel weird being like, this isn't a good doctor. But a doctor friend here, I told him where I was, and he was like, oh, that's a bad hospital.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And also it's Utah, so it tracks.
Yeah, I'm like, their reading levels aren't great. So we could ipso facto to not great medical care. Okay. But they were like, well, maybe it's something you did.
No.
And I was like, you guys aren't good. And they're like, well, what'd you do earlier in the day? And they were like, I was like, ride horses. And they're like, yeah, probably avoid that.
The riding horse. These are Mormons, right? They do soaking. Did you hear about this?
I've heard about it where they just put it in, but they'll move, and they're like, no, God's cool with that.
Don't trust these people.
Don't move. So, like, I get the sensation of penetrating you, but then we both have to stay perfectly still.
Don't trust those people. Don't trust those people.
That's somehow enjoyable. Like, at that point, just don't. Like, you have your hands for a reason. Okay.
So how did the stroke feel? Like, how does someone know at 36 years old that they're having a stroke?
Okay, so I wasn't mentally there for a lot of it, I'm going to admit.
Okay.
But I was on the phone with my mom, which is so dorky. Me and my mom are really tight. But I had called my mom to make fun of a bunch of stuff, and I was making fun of things. And then I was like, Mom, I need a second. I need to catch my breath. I feel kind of like weird, you know? And then I remember her yelling, "You're not making any sense." So I guess I wasn't communicating clearly. And then I was on the ground. And then I'm crawling, and then people are around me, and then I'm in an ambulance. So for me, it was like weird little glimpses of stuff.
Okay, got it.
But by this point, I had lost my vision. I guess I had thrown up a lot.
Oh, wow.
Like a concerning amount. They were like, it's pretty weird that she's like crawling on the ground, right? Like, yeah. So.
Wow, so you have this stroke.
Yes.
Do you find out why it came on later?
Not really, no.
So you still don't know?
So it's funny because I have one set of doctors who believes one theory, and then another set of doctors who don't believe that theory. So I'm just at this stalemate where it's like, well, okay, even if it's not that one thing, can we like look into other things? And they're like, no, we're just going to sit here and stare at each other. But their theory was that I have a hole in my heart, and that a clot formed in my leg, went through the hole in my heart, and then got lodged in my brain.
Wow, that's crazy. But then another group doesn't believe that.
Yeah, they're like, so they do this test where they like, it's a bubble test, and they like put stuff in your blood, and then they can see the bubbles are on one side, but they shouldn't be crossing to the other side. if there's a hole in your heart, they would cross to the other side. So they like showed me the video and they're like, you see how there are bubbles over here and then there are no bubbles over here? That's the way it's supposed to be. So we don't think that this hole in the heart thing is what it is actually. And we don't want you to have heart surgery for no reason.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. And also, like, I feel like they don't diagnose women, black women specifically well. They have no like concept.
Like, half of the doctors I've been to, I talk with a nurse for like 5 minutes, and then the doctor comes in, looks at me, and says, "Is your health like cholesterol, weight stuff?" And it's like, did you look at the chart at all?
No, they just go straight to like, well, for me, they're like, you're fat. And I'm just like, can you give me some actual information?
Does that tell you what's going on with my bones?
No.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They're like, hey, I'm seeing 40 people today. I'm just going to guess it's because you're fat because I don't have the mental bandwidth to actually look into what's going on or why this is happening to you. And so it has just been kind of like this weird stalemate I had that with, the stroke was 2 years ago, and like my cardiologist, I'm going back and forth, and oh shit, I have an appointment next month. Yeah, I just remembered. Yeah, I'm gonna see him again, and he's gonna be like, "Did you get heart surgery?" And I'll be like, "No, because these people are telling me I don't need heart surgery. Can you like look into other things?" And now it's been complicated, and I mentioned this in my message to you. I have an identical twin sister.
Yes.
She just had a pre-stroke, so like
crazy.
It didn't result in permanent damage, but it was a blockage of blood to the brain for a period of time.
God, it's genetic.
So there's clearly something genetic here.
Yeah.
But for her, they were like, oh, it's probably that you were on antidepressants. And I was like, but I wasn't on antidepressants at the time of mine.
Yeah.
And then they also said, like, she had to cut out a bunch of other things. And I was like, yeah, none of that was what was going on with me. Because they were like, with you, we also think that these clots formed in your leg because you were flying. Like, you had recently flown to Utah. And she hadn't recently flown anywhere. And both me and my sister were like, okay, you guys are being blessed with an identical twin study that would allow you to get information about this condition, and you guys could not give a shit. Like,
yeah, that's what's happening because you're two specimens, same person technically.
Yes, like same genetic makeup, different environmental factors, but mostly similar stuff.
Yeah.
But on the time when this major health incident happened for both of us, they were like, yeah, I don't know. It's probably the thing we said earlier, and we're not going to look into it more. So,
wow, these doctors are horrible.
I'm like, hey, you guys could be better, or just like show more interest in the fact that is pretty weird, right? Like,
that is really
strokes
weird.
Don't run in our family, so
no one else has had a stroke.
So okay, and I can preface this now because also, a bunch of things have happened since I had the stroke. So I met my dad died. We were not close. I hadn't seen the man since I was like 6 years old.
Got it.
He died. I got his car for some reason.
Okay.
I went down and I met my uncles who I had never met, or I had met when I was 6, I guess, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
They were like telling me about my family, and they're like, oh yeah, these 2 people in our family had a stroke. And I was like, okay, so maybe I do have a family history of stroke that I didn't know about. Also, that side of the family, twins run. Like, there's lots of twins on that side of the family.
So it's all his side.
Yes, I think I'm like,
blame it on them.
Yeah, my deadbeat dad gave me a stroke.
Essentially.
I guess. Yeah. So yeah, now I am like learning about my dad's side of the family and reconnecting with some relatives, but also me and my sister are bonding over this thing. And yeah, it's been weird.
I'm happy you twins were able to have, and your sister leads a different life than you
Very
from online.
different.
She
Yes.
is a mom.
She is a mom.
Okay.
She is a wife.
She's approved in Utah.
She is approved in Utah. They would be like, oh, you're valid. Rights? Just kidding. They're never giving women rights. They simply won't do it. Yeah, she works in insurance. She has, it's fun, like, I have an MFA of like film production, and it's like an MFA of flakiness to my family. They're just like, she's just willy-nilly out here doing something. We're not really sure, but she seems to be making a living being a clown or something. And then Patrice is like, I have an MBA. I am a manager in insurance. I have the most stable, like, my husband also has an MBA. and he manages in nonprofits, and we are working to make society better. And I'm like kind of trying to make society laugh, but really like going through my own issues. But yeah, her life totally different. And then both of us within a year and a half of each other.
Wow, that's crazy. So having a stroke in your 30s is weird.
It is.
So like, I don't know, any tips for other people, or like, did they tell you anything? Like, I'm confused. Like, what did you have to stop doing?
Okay, so I stopped drinking based on all the medications they put me on.
Got it.
And I actually don't mind not drinking. It means that I am more honest with myself about how long I want to stay at parties.
That is true, because I've stayed too long at parties because I'll be drunk.
Yeah, you're like, woo, yeah, I'm feeling it. And then you're like, I'm not having a good time at all.
I hate these people.
Or like, oh, the next day, oh, that was completely drinking. No, now I'm like, it's like 9:30, and this is like, if it was going to happen by now, it would have happened.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that I want out of this party.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, I'm going to go home and I'm going to rest and relax. Nice. And I've also gotten to explore weed, like edibles, weed cocktails. I just had a party where we had weed pina coladas.
Oh, wow. That's intense. I would fall asleep.
It's like, you can buy different types of, oh my gosh, to me it's like, ooh, there's this whole new world that some of my high school classmates were into, but I was a straight edge kid, so now I get to explore weed.
I love how you say explore weed. That is very straight edge of you.
Yeah. But like, there's so many, like, not to, like, no free ads, but the travel agency is like, it's an iPhone, it's like an Apple store of weed, and I'm like, perfect. There are people who will tell you everything you want to know. If you look the slightest bit confused, 2 people will walk over and be like, can we help you with weed? And you're like, I want to feel this way. And they're like, okay, here's like 5 different ways you could achieve that.
No, that's true. They have the weed, what they call the bud tenders.
The bud tenders.
No,
yes.
they are very good and very helpful. Okay, so you don't drink. Anything else?
I don't drink, and I don't do like psychedelics. And I always wanted to try that, but now I'm on antidepressants. And also, they were like, Patrice has got to stop taking them. But I started taking them after my stroke because I got super depressed after my stroke. And so I'm like, I hope that's not a thing that's causing something. So, I'm just living on the edge, dude.
So basically, you just stopped drinking and you can't take psychedelics. Nothing else has changed.
I mean, I don't have feeling on the right side of my body.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, so like, I think it's crazy to be like, my sister is lucky. She had a pre-stroke, but she doesn't have permanent brain damage, which is good. But I do have permanent brain damage, and so the right side, and it's weird because like the muscle has feeling, but the skin doesn't. So like,
oh my God, that's so you can't feel this?
Like, or that's the left side. But,
oh my bad.
I can feel it, but I can feel that the muscle underneath is moving.
Wow.
But like if an ant was crawling on my skin, I wouldn't notice that.
So what does that do? Like I have no, like I don't know, like. You just like, everyone's just like, we don't know.
I just live, I guess.
There's another comedian with the show, Keith Robertson.
Yes.
Have you guys connected?
We have not connected. And also, Kat Cohen had a mini stroke.
Really?
Yes. So strokes are on the rise, and then some people were blaming the vaccine, and some people were like, no, it's actually the
Wait,
COVID.
did you get vaccinated?
I did get vaccinated.
It's the vaccine.
Get vaccinated. That's why we don't have polio like that. Oh, it's coming back.
Well, it's coming back, yeah. Thank you, RFK. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like some of these clowns who aren't getting vaccinated at all are bringing back polio and some other weird, like, hoof, mouth, kid disease or something. Just get these shots. They're, like, easy. And it's, if you're that afraid of autism, chill. Like, half the people are autistic, so calm down.
Yeah, most of us are autistic.
Yeah, like, whatever. And that's, like, how we get scientific advancements, because people who think out of the box. So, like, chill. Get your vaccines. But in North Carolina, so I'm from North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I went to North Carolina right after having a stroke, and all the doctors were like, it's those vaccines.
Really?
Yes, I went to
That's crazy.
specialists. And then in New York, they're like, it's like COVID. Like the COVID itself.
Oh, so did you have long COVID or something like that?
I had COVID twice. Yeah.
I've had
COVID since having the stroke.
I've had COVID like 3 times. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I'm really pissed off because the last time I had it, like put me out for a week while I was in Rome.
Oh my God. I was about to say, do you think we got COVID in Scotland? Because I swear I had something, but I didn't go check it or nothing. I just like stayed in my room for a week. It was like, whatever.
It was just very frustrating to be like, I'm paying to live somewhere, like to be somewhere else. And I'm paying all this money when I could have sat my ass at home if I was just going to stay in the room.
It had a little COVID, yeah. Okay, but this has nothing to do with the stroke.
Let's do it.
But so psychologically, did the stroke impact you like at all? I can imagine.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, because like it truly, like the reason why I don't have feeling on my skin is because like parts of my brain died.
Oh my God.
Like that's what brain
really
damage
crazy.
is. That's what a binge drinking also does, is like brain damage. So guys, a lot of y'all are giving yourselves brain damage. Stop it. But yes, so like my neurologist looks at scans of my brain, because initially he was like, based on your age, he just assumed mini stroke. But then he looked at scans of my brain. He's like, no, there's a lot of damage here. And I was like, great, that makes me feel great. Thanks for your surprise at how damaged my brain is. Great. But I had trouble remembering things. My emotions were crazy, and then that's when emotions were crazy, considering suicide, like just felt really bad. And then I went to talk to my therapist, got on medication. I feel so much better now.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you started off the podcast by saying you always wanted to plan your own funeral.
Yes.
So now that you've had this near-death experience, essentially, how do you feel about it now?
I still say plan your funeral. I think it's important. I'm actually working with my mom now to make sure all of her stuff is in order.
Oh, yeah, I need to do it. You know how black parents are. I ain't never going, baby.
No. You're going to die, and I am going to have to deal with loads of paperwork, your hoarding tendencies.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to deal with so much. Be nice to me and get trust, get an estate planner. Like some of these things you have to pay for, some of them you don't.
Yeah.
But there are ways to draw up documents so that your kids aren't fighting over what you have. Also, I heard this on a podcast, so I'm going to misquote it, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
But it's something like Swedish death cleaning, where every year you get rid of 10% of your stuff.
Swedish death cleaning.
I heard it so long ago that now I'm like, did I make that up?
But what if you get 10% more stuff? But anyway.
But you got to keep getting rid of stuff so that by the time you die, that you don't have like, because before I would go to my, like truly, I fly down to Charlotte. I'm there for a variety of reasons, but we go through a room.
God.
And throw away like anything. Are you using this? No, get rid of it. You're planning on using this if this and that? Get rid of it. You're saving this for your grandchildren who would actually laugh in your face if you handed this to them because this is a board game from 1996. Get rid of it. Like,
got it. No, I get what you're saying. So you're doing the estate planning stuff with your mom.
Yes.
And how do you feel about death?
Oh, I feel about death. Okay, so I have a loose will. It's not like legally binding, but I have a declaration of what I want to happen to my stuff in Google Docs. I have like, here are all of the medications. Here's all the information from an insurance perspective, from like a health insurance perspective. All that is easily accessible to my family, who's shared with on those like Google folders. So
got it. So you've done that, but I still don't know how you feel. Like,
like it's going to happen, especially now because
soon,
I don't have.
Or
I don't know.
Okay, but are you still like morbidly like I don't know, planning this weird
I guess, sort of like I've always been morbid, and I'm still morbid.
So weird.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just like a weirdo, and I'm gonna be that until I die. Because I'm like, I will absolutely die. Like,
yeah, we all will.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Based on health stuff, like I was told in the hospital, it's probably because strokes often happen to old people.
Yeah.
But once you have a stroke, your life expectancy, like you're probably going to die within 10 years.
Is that true?
Like that's what they're like, average life expectancy is 10 years. That's because most of the people having strokes are old as hell anyway.
Yeah.
And they were going to die in 10 years regardless, maybe.
No, that makes sense.
But when I heard that, I was like, okay, well, if you have 10 years, then you should probably live. Like, you should probably go do stuff. You should probably like go to Edinburgh and see what that's about. Like, if you have 10 years, like I went to Italy last year for a month and I got COVID there, but I rode on the back of a Vespa through the Italian, like the Roman streets. I walked around. I took trains around the country. Like, I took a lot of cooking classes. We're fucking doing it.
Okay, so you're living life, essentially.
Yes.
Actually, this is like, I don't know, it feels like you have a new lease on life.
Yes, and like at first, when I had the stroke initially, immediately, new lease on life. And I do think it was like something about, I'm so sorry, this is insensitive, something about being dumber. Like, I was like, okay, my brain isn't working as well. I'm so happy. And then as my brain healed, I was like, I am sad again. I am so deeply sad. And now I'm on medication, and it's like, hey, I'm not like ecstatic, but I'm not like can't get out of bed. And I'll take it. Let's go.
Ignorance is bliss.
Truly. That's why stupid people are really, really happy.
Okay.
Or some of them are like pissed off and you're like, bro, you can't anger your way out of being dumb.
Yeah, that's true. Angry dumb people are annoying, but dumb fun people are good times.
Hey, we want you around.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so any tips for anyone else who might get a stroke?
Sure. Okay. Honestly, you should probably not drink to the levels I was drinking to.
Okay.
And I was drinking a lot because of comedy. Because we're paid in drink tickets.
Yeah.
We're out at bars.
Yeah.
At the time, now I do less, but I was two bars a night.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking at least the drink ticket that I get.
Yeah, that you get, yeah.
Plus another one often.
Yeah.
And it was just, I wasn't eating well because if I'm drinking, I'm not like, ooh, a salad. I'm like, I want, honestly, a Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburger.
They're really great. Yeah.
I fucking love those,
they're
dude.
really good, yeah.
And it's like, hey, that isn't good for you and it doesn't make you feel good in the long run.
That's true.
It makes you feel good for a second, but it doesn't make you feel good later. And I'm not one of these food policers, but I genuinely think hey, me being weighed down by eating garbage food and drinking a lot wasn't helping me be happy.
Okay, got it. So if you're going to get a stroke, stop eating garbage and let's just drink less and eat better.
Yes. I mean, now that if you had asked me before the stroke to stop drinking, I would have been too hard.
Yeah.
Now that I don't drink, I'm like, actually, this is quite easy.
No, that's true. You probably put more years in your life by not drinking, even with the stroke.
Yeah.
That's something to consider. I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
And so many romantic mistakes when drinking.
Yes.
I made a lot of mistakes, and I was more susceptible to be super upset by people in hindsight that I genuinely don't give a shit about.
Oh my God, that is true as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is really a drinking story, less of a stroke story.
In large part because, I was obsessing over some guy and, we're sleeping together, but only when I'm drunk, apparently, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, hey, what if I wasn't messy?
Yeah, what if you were sober? You was just anyway. That's true. I tend to be messy even when I'm sober, so there's that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I'll curse you out regardless.
I'm a lot older than you, so I think when you're young, you should be a little bit messy so that you learn the lessons.
Okay, that's true. That
as long as you are learning the lessons.
Well, we'll see. I'm a messy bitch.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Okay, so that's interesting. So now you and your sister are in this this bond together.
Yes.
But she has the kids and this husband and this career, if you will. Mm-hmm. But you're in this together. So I look forward to hearing more. Are you going to do your one-woman show here in New York?
Yes, I'm doing it as part of the Black Women in Comedy Festival.
Oh my God, I'm in that. I'm headlining that.
Yeah. We're both headlining the Black Women in Comedy Festival.
Yes.
So that'll be really fun. I also want to say I was not appreciating the friendships that I had for what they were and what they could be. And in addition to not drinking, look at the relationships. Are you sitting around waiting for a relationship to become what you want it to be? And for me, it was with friends. It wasn't like a romantic relationship.
That's true. No,
where I was hoping that maybe my friends they'll once they know that this is the type of friendship I want, they'll adjust and do that type of friendship. But some people can do a certain type of friendship or are looking to do a certain type of friendship with you, and some people aren't. And so whatever, you're not helping yourself by sitting around waiting for someone to change so that you can have the type of relationships that you want.
No, that's true.
Go out there and find people who want to have that type of relationship with you, that you want to have that relationship, but also recognize the people. I say all this because me and my twin sister are best friends.
Yeah.
And we're tighter than we've ever been. And acknowledging hey, I'm looking for all these things, but I'm super lucky, and I have this built-in person who knows all my references, who gets me, and I feel super lucky about that. So look for the people who want to be your friends and don't break your neck trying to be with other people.
Get a twin, essentially.
Yeah, get a twin. They're out here. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Kenice. Thank you for sharing your stroke story. I hope you do not have another. I'm gonna tell my mama be watching this. Pray for her, mommy.
Thanks.
Miss Taylor's her name.
Miss Taylor. Thanks, Miss Taylor.
So great. So we're done with strokes, we hope. And then, so what is something we're not done with, pop culture or otherwise?
Okay. I am a super big dork, and I have to accept that about myself. The two things that I was most excited about this year are Agatha All Along.
Oh yeah,
and The Penguin.
Yeah,
and they were both on at the same time, and so just fucking thrilled and listening to like 4 podcasts about each episode, just over the top dorkiness. But I like. No, my birthday was this month. I'm sitting in my truth. I love dorky shit. I like listening to podcasts about it. I get to pursue it. So yay me.
Agatha All Along, that really did. And The Penguin, oh my God, I'm loving The Penguin right now.
It's so good.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I'll talk about what I'm not done with. So I'm not done with, there's a stupid game that I downloaded that I was tricked into downloading on my iPhone. Apparently like every old woman's on it, and I'm just an auntie now. So it's called Townish or something like
Township?
that. Yeah.
I'm on Township. I'm on Township. Yes, I am an old auntie. Yes.
Why does that control my life now?
Because you gotta play it, and you gotta fill the trains with stuff. You're in charge of the logistics of a town.
Oh my God, this
you
is
gotta mine.
I spend a lot of time on this game. I'm spending money on it. Like, what is wrong with me?
I won't spend money on it because
I've been spending money.
No, I was. So I initially, the first mobile game I joined was Merge Mansion.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
It's a merge game. It's stupid.
Okay.
But Pedro Pascal was in a commercial for it.
No.
And I was like, Pedro Pascal? Okay, I'll do it. So I joined it, but I was like buying all the add-ons. And then I was like, Kenice, this is like turned into a line item in your budget. And you can't.
Yeah.
So you have to, so I got rid of Merge Mansion and I joined Township, and I can do anything except for spend money there.
Got it. So Township, I don't play video. Like, I don't
play video games either.
And it got me in the chokehold one day. Like, I was just on Township,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I mean, okay, I guess I can fill this train with this number of cookies. Okay, I have produced this many units of French fries. Okay, boop, 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 boop. Shh, we got to rate for the sour cream.
oh my God. And every woman over 50 apparently is hooked on it too, including my mother, who has an amazing town.
Wow.
So yeah, here we go. That's what I'm not done with.
You know what? I feel connected to you here. Yeah, because you were like Townish, and I was like, it's Township. It's this. These are the details. It combines elements
Wait, how
of a
many
pick
black
three
women
game
are hooked on Township? Is that like,
Then they should make more of the characters in the game black.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of white people,
Yeah.
but like, I'm sure it's a bunch of black women just playing Township.
Exactly. Who else? I mean, my mom does that in this water sorting game. That's bullshit. But
I don't care about that one.
yeah.
Okay, great. Kenice, where can I guess find you?
Okay, you guys can find me on Kenice Mobley on all the platforms. Well, not Blue Sky yet, but I'm gonna get it because we have to get it, I guess.
Okay, everyone's getting Blue Sky, but I'm like, what happens when Elon takes over the country? There's no Blue Sky for America.
Assassination.
Oh, okay, that makes that helps me feel better.
See, yeah, I gotta stop saying that but I'm like today, I'm genuinely happy that like Matt Gaetz isn't gonna be the Attorney
Oh
General.
my God, that was nice.
Yes,
that was nice.
Like a small thing.
It's like,
And it
yeah,
was
no
good,
child
Stop
molesters.
sleeping with 17-year-olds. At least there's some accountability for that.
Yeah.
Like, great. That's one thing, but he can still be a creep. He'll just wait a year, I guess.
I don't know. His face annoys me. It looks like Beavis.
Agreed.
He's Beavis, right?
Yeah, it's too much of the hair pulling back, eyebrow pulling back. So now he looks like a scary cartoon person.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah. Oh wait, where can I guess find you?
Oh yes. Yes. I am Kenice Mobley on all the platforms. That's KENICE MOBLEY, and you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter. I'm gonna quit it. I swear to God, I'm gonna quit it. And soon to be Blue Sky, and I guess Facebook. But who's doing that?
Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kenice.
Thank you. This is
We're
lovely.
done here. Thank you.